Welcome back, students. The topic for today's discussion is cyber law, cyber crimes, IPR issues, hacking, cracking, and Indian IT Act. These things are quite common in nature. We will be, most things are practical oriented, what we see in day-to-day life. So let us dwell into the topic. So first of all, let us see what is meant by a cyber law. So cyber law, the law which govern the cyberspace is referred as cyber law. So what kind of cyber crimes we come across in our day-to-day life? So the first example is identity theft. So identity theft is one common cyber crime which we come across in our day-to-day life. So identity theft is any kind of deception, scam, or a crime that results in the loss of personal data, including the loss of usernames, password, banking information, credit card number, and Aadhaar numbers, etc. That is then used without our permission to commit fraud and other crimes. So somebody will try to steal our bank details or some other details, anything with respect to uh, our personal information, which reveals who we are, where we live, etc. When these things are, stolen by a person in online, we refer to those kind of theft as identity theft. So how our identity are stolen? So online identity theft occurs when users fall for tactics like phishing and confidence scams. So phishing attack we would have discussed in the previous video. Phishing means the user will be getting a fancy email, an attractive email, which urges them to click on that particular link, and they try to provide some valuable information via which our identity will be stolen. Some confidence schemes like Ponzi schemes, uh, some kind of marketing gimmicks which we come across in online, via which they will try to steal our identity. Download malware onto our computers or smartphones, via which they steal our valuable information which are available in our smartphone or system or laptop. So using wireless networks that are insecure, take out money from an ATM that has been rigged with a skimming device. See, some people will try to attach a skimming device, that is above the keypad. They will try to paste something like that, key loggers. Whatever we key in there, they can able to check those things. So via which our identity, we will be inserting our card detail along with this password. They can easily extract using this kind of skimming device. When we try to share our password with untrustworthy people, so we are not supposed to share our password to any of the known or unknown persons. So password is to be known only for the person who has, if I am having the card now, I should be knowing only the password, not anyone else other than myself. Even the better half also should not know the password of those things. So how can we protect our identity? So we are not supposed to open unsolicited or suspicious mails which will be in our inbox. Do not share our personal information over the phone or social media to anyone else. Create strong passwords on the internet Try to keep the same, do not try to keep the same password for all accounts. Try to change it regularly, at least 3 months once. Make the purchase on the internet via trusted sites. So try to keep a list of account number, expiry date, etc. filed separately for our reference. Don't keep it in desktop, or don't keep those things in your mail. Do not give your Aadhaar number to anyone else who is asking for the same. Why? Because using which it is one of our digital identity. When some person asks, we are not supposed to give it as easily as and when they ask. So when we are trying to give Xerox copy of our proof, at if somebody is asking, mention the purpose in it. They try to, you will be having some QR code there. They will try to scan the QR code. They can able to extract some other information. Whenever we are trying to put the signature, manually try to affix the date so that we can claim. So cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is when someone, typically a teenager, bullies or harasses others on the internet, in other digital space, particularly on social media. See, cyberbullying, cyber stalking, any kind of cyber crimes, mostly other than financial things, these kind of cyber crimes occurs when we are fully involved, or we have dwelled more onto social sites. See, cyberbullying is someone, typically a teenager, bullies or harasses. They try to quarrel over the net rather than verbally, when two persons are attacking, like a debate. See here, cyberbullying is, these things happen in social media. See, harmful bullying behavior can include posting rumors. See, some person try to damage the other person. That is, they try to, what is that, post rumors in social media. They try to threaten us, sexual remarks, a victim's personal information. They will try to expose some other person's personal information over the social media, which provokes the particular individual. So hate speech. So these things over the social media, these things are common examples of cyberbullying. So the person or the victim who is entitled for cyberbullying may experiences these things, namely, they feel lower self-esteem, increased suicidal ideation, and a variety of negative emotional responses, including being scared, frustrated, angry, or depressed. Why? Because their name is trying to be damaged, or their personality is trying to be damaged over the social media, which the person don't prefer, which any person don't prefer. So they will be entitled to all these kind of what is that, human emotions, like they will be scared, they will be frustrated, they will get angry, they will be depressed because their name has been damaged. So these are the issues which arise out of cyberbullying. The person who, this is what with respect to cyberbullying is. Let us move on to the term cyber trolls. So internet trolls intentionally try to provoke or offend others in order to elicit a reaction. They want a reply from the other person. So they try to provoke via cyber trolls. Trolls and cyberbullies do not always have the same goals. So troll is something different and cyberbullies are something different. They do not have the same goals. While some troll engage in cyberbullying, See, cyber trolls, it is one form of bullying the other person. Others may be engaged in comparatively harmless, but it will be a mischievous one. So they try to provoke, they try to uh, need a response from the other person. So they try to go over the net on the social media. They try to attack the other person. So that's seeking an explanation for something, or they want a reaction from the other person. So for this one, this is with respect to cyber trolls. Cyber stalking. Uh, stalking. Cyber stalking is a form of online harassment in which a perpetrator uses electronic communication to stalk a victim. That is any kind of social media to victimize another person. This is one of the most dangerous forms of cyberbullying because it generally involves a credible threat to a victim's safety. So this is more harmful when compared to normal cyberbullying. Cyber stalkers may send repeated messages intent to threaten or harass, and they may encourage others to do the same, either explicitly or by impersonating their victim and asking others to contact them. So one person does this one, or one person spreads this one on the social network, and a group of person tries to target one person, which is very dangerous here when compared to the other things. This is with respect to cyber stalking. So now let us move on to IP issues. IP means here intellectual property. Let us discuss what is intellectual property. Intellectual property refers to the creation of the mind, such as inventions, literary and artistic works, designs and symbols, names and images used in e-commerce. So what are the types of IP that are available? Patent, trademark, copyright, and trade secret. So let us discuss one by one. So patent, used to protect inventive ideas or process. Things that are new, useful, and non-obvious patents are what most often come to mind when thinking of IP protection. Uh, See, for COVID, somebody is producing a vaccine. So then particular company will try to get a patent so that it is their idea, their process. They want to protect their inventive ideas. So this is one example of a patent. Patent also used to protect newly engineered plant species or strains as well. So I have given an example for patent. So trademark. So a trademark is unlike a patent. It protects words, phrases, symbols, sounds, smell, and color schemes. So trademarks are often considered as assets that describe or otherwise identify the source of underlying products or services that a company provides, such as MGM. In a film, when you are trying to see a film now, MGM line roar is one example for a trademark. The Home Depot orange color scheme, the Intel Inside logo, etc. Here I have also used one symbol. If people remember it correctly, this represents McDonald's. So this is one symbol or an image via which we are able to judge the brand. So it is their trademark symbol which others are not supposed to use. I have tried to use this one for our education purpose, right? Just to specify that this is one example for a trademark. So copyrights. So copyrights here, copyrights do not protect ideas, but rather the manner in which the ideas are expressed. So actually copyrights do not protect the ideas rather than the manner in which they are expressed. Original works of a author, that is books written, art, music, architectural drawings, or even programming code for software. These things comes under copyright. This is if anybody wants to use, they have to obtain permission from the author and they can use it. With certain exceptions, copyrights allows the owner of the protected materials to control a reproduction. That is, if a person is having a copyright now, easily we cannot reproduce the same content. In new versioning or adaptations, public performance and distribution of work. See, if A has done something and he has obtained the copyright, then B cannot take A's work and he cannot distribute it to the general public. Why? Because it is a copyright version. We have to obtain the permission from A and then only we can try to distribute it to B. So trade secrets. So copyright in the sense, for example, music, what is that? T-Series. Sorry for keeping you on hold. T-Series. So T-Series is one brand where they have copyrights. For certain films, they will be having some songs. So music hangama, something like that. They will be having some set of music for which they would have obtained copyrights. When somebody a new YouTuber wants to upload the particular music, now they cannot simply take the music of that particular movie and they cannot incorporate in their YouTube videos. Why? Because these things comes under copyright. When the other person uses it without the permission of the copyright owner, then this is an IP issue. That is, you are trying to what is that? Copy the intellectual property of somebody via which they are trying to protect our rights. So trade secrets here. And this is also much more important. Trade secrets are proprietary procedures, systems, devices, formula, strategies, or other information that is confidential and exclusive to the company using them. They can act as a competitive advantage for the business. See, let me give one example. For Coca-Cola, how they bring the flavor, what is the combination is their trade secret. They will not relieve that how that cola effect has, what is that, they have formulated that particular one. So this is one example for trade secret. So these are the four things with respect to IP. So 4 types of intellectual property to protect your idea. So they have given examples here. With respect to patents, patents protects functional or ornamental features, swipe features of iPhone design, which has been stolen by Samsung, and iPhone has won the case in that particular patent issue. So trade secret, it protects secret information. For example, Coke formula, new invention. Copyrights here. Copyrights work for authorship, books, movies, drawings, etc. Trademarks protects brand, Apple for cell phones. So these things are copyright issues. So plagiarism or plagiarism, it is plagiarism. So plagiarism can appear in different forms, but the end outcome is always the same. The plagiarist stole something from another person. Plagiarism refers to using some other person's idea and information without acknowledging that specific person as the source. If I am trying to give a definition, if the definition is being given by somebody, if I am not trying to acknowledge the person definition, then that particular definition which I am trying to convey is a plagiarized one. So I am trying to steal some other person's information and I am trying to reuse it without his permission. So similar to all other forms of theft, plagiarism has also many disadvantages associated with it. What actually makes downloaded material illegal? So whenever a copyright law is ignored or any material, it is considered as an illegal one. So when we are not bound to the copyright law, then we are considered as illegal. We are considered as illegal ones. So if the material is not distributed with an artist permission or a label or company's permission, then it is considered as an illegal. Let me give one real-time example. An author has written a book, right? I am trying to take photocopies of the particular book. If the book cost is 500 rupees, I am trying to take Xerox of it. People say that it is 100 rupees. It is 1/5 of the book cost. See, this author has written a book and he owns the copyright of the particular book. So without his permission, I am trying to take the photocopy of the entire book. Without buying the book from the bookshop, I am trying to go for a cheap mean. Here, this is considered as an illegal one. If you have not paid the artist to work, it is not legal. So technically, according to the Audio Home Recording Act of 1992, it is illegal to burn the CDs of other people. Some other people CD we are not supposed to burn it, right? So this is coming under what is that copying issue. So this is considered as illegal. So popular downloading programs, you do have two things: popular downloading programs as well as popular downloading pirated materials. All right. So something which we should not do and something we can do. Popular downloading programs are, I can use iTunes, Amazon.com and other websites, BitTorrent. Whereas we are not supposed to use BitTorrent or uTorrent or PizzaTorrent or LimeWire or VUse in order to download pirated content of a legitimate work. So this two things are, we can use BitTorrent for good thing as well as for a bad thing. So we are not supposed to use BitTorrent for the bad thing. So what are the pros and cons? So you can download almost anything, anytime, things from the software, games, music to movies and television shows. So this is one advantage of normal legal downloading. You can find material that is high quality, that is available free. This is also one advantage. Most people claim to only steal from the rich artists and claim that new unknown brands are helped from the intention on peer-to-peer networks. What are the concerns? Viruses can be transmitted to our computer while downloading. This is one problem. See, when we are trying to download some content, we don't know the trustworthy. So virus can be transmitted. The government can press charges because there is no legality to it. When you download illegally, you risk receiving a criminal record, being banned from the internet, being fined, or even serving a jail time. So this is one concern which we have to keep in mind. As far as no one knows, we can assume that we are safe. Once we are caught, even we can be imprisoned for doing this work. You can be fined up to, this is with respect to US one, you can be fined up to $150,000 per file that you have downloaded. See, a student has been fined $675,000 for illegal musical downloads. This is what the punishment has been given to a particular student. For those who have downloaded over 1 million files, the RIAA has made fines, that is $250,000 as a fine plus 6 years jail time as an imprisonment because of illegal downloading. So we are not supposed to download something illegally, and these are the things under which they have been charged. For downloading the particular thing, they have been charged. So moving on to hacking and cracking. So kindly be aware of it. So this is one common misconception between hacking and cracking. A hacker uses their extensive knowledge of computer logic and code. The person is very good at programming. A cracker looks for a backdoor in programs and he exploits those backdoor. He will be entering via the backdoor, whereas a hacker uses an extensive knowledge of computer logic and code in order to get into a particular software. Hackers break into the security system for the sole purpose of checking the holes in the system, and they are intended on working on rectifying those things. See, a hacker, they try to evade a system so as to check what kind of abnormality or what kind of loose things are present there, how we can rectify those things. With that intention, he will be entering or he will be trying to enter the system. But the case with respect to a cracker is, the cracker breaks the security system for criminal and illegal reasons or for personal gains. Either in order to gain something personally or for some other illegal reasons, they try to crack this one. So cracker is also having knowledge, but he tries to enter through the back door. Whereas a hacking, they are trying, you do have one thing called as ethical hacking. Here, something they are trying to check on their system, how secure it is. For that purpose, they try to break the code, they try to get inside it, they try to refix what kind of loopholes they have found while they are What is that? Entering the system using the holes. So this is what with respect to hacking and cracking is. Moving on to the last topic of the session. So Indian IT Act. You do have these following acts: 67A, 67B, 67C, 68, 69, 70 and 71 respectively. 67A, the offenses publishing imaging contain sexual acts for which a person can be imprisoned up to 7 years and he has to pay a fine of 10 lakhs. Publishing child porn or predating children online. So here imprisonment up to 5 years and a fine of 10 lakhs on first conviction. Imprison up to 7 years or a fine of 10 lakhs on second conviction. Failure to maintain records. Imprisonment up to 3 years or with a fine. Failure / refusal to compel with orders. Imprisonment up to 3 years and with a fine of 20 lakhs. Failure or refusal to decrypt the data. Imprisonment up to 7 years and a possible fine. Securing access or attempting to secure access to a protected system. Imprisonment up to 10 years and with a fine. Misinterpretation. So when we try to communicate wrongly in a net, imprisonment up to 3 years and a fine up to 1 lakh. So these are some of the acts. So we need not remember the penalties and all. Just try to know these kind of offenses. 67A na publishing imaging contains sexual acts. 67B na publishing image child porn or predating children online. 67C denotes failure to maintain records. 68 denotes failure and refusal. So failure or refusal to compel with orders. 69 failure or refusal to decrypt the data. 70 stands for securing access or attempting to secure access to a protected system. And 71 stands for misinterpretation. I hope this topic is clear. Thank you for the session.